Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
While one championship is set up, the main championship, the Pro Championship, goes down to the wire. And then there were two, Lincoln Olson and Ari Ryder, separated by 8 points. It'll take a winner to come and see who will take the DRSCCA SUPERLAP MX5 Pro Crown here at Portland International Raceway. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're watching Apex Racing TV around the world. My name is Jeremy Scott. Charles Bochel's alongside, and Omet is bringing us our championship decider to you live and in Memorex. I cannot think of a better place to decide a championship, Charles, than here at Portland International Raceway.
Yeah, it's a really interesting track. I don't have a lot of experience with it. I've only watched a couple of races here, but you know, it's one of those I guess a former I almost made the joke, the former World War II air base, but I don't think that's the case at all. But you know, it's a very nice little road course and flat, not a lot of elevation. Some really interesting corners, and I think our main focus will probably, at least at the start of the race, will be that first chicane when we start the lap.
And of course, you see a lot of drivers make mistakes here in the chicane. And the chicane's so important that when Dale Coyne built the Route 66 Raceway in Joliet, Illinois, alongside with NASCAR, he made a test track. And he put in the Portland chicane so his drivers could come here and test. That is how important Portland is in motorsports. And I gotta say this, it's great to see IndyCar back there. Champ Car was a long-time series that ran here at Portland, and it's in one of the most beautiful parts of the country. I am lucky that my in-law family, they live out in Portland, and if you've never gone, I highly recommend you do so. Closest I've got to the racetrack, though, is flying over it on approach and landing to the airport. As you see, we're underway with qualifying. Ari Ryder, your fastest right now, trying to do all he can to try and get that championship. Now, drops have been accumulating. That's, we said, 8 points. But here's the thing. Points are laid out in the SCCA format. We'll talk more about that during warm-up, but you're watching Ari Ryder with a 24.096. That's the fastest lap of the session. 0.06 of a second behind him is Lincoln Olson. So the championship stalwarts, they're really close there.
Yeah, they are really close. And look, top of the grid looks like it's going to be very interesting, as we've got the top 12 separated by less than a second. And this is a pretty good sized track. It's not a small track by any stretch of the imagination. So you get 12 cars that are running that closely together. I think that's going to make for some very interesting racing. Of course, you've got other cars up there. You've got Sean Fritz and St. Cross right there on the second row of the qualifying order. And those guys are also hungry. They want to get out there and they want to try and race for a victory tonight. So they've got to be sure that they do that cleanly and obviously don't want to crown a champion by somebody being taken out during the course of the race.
And of course, while we're talking about racetracks, Waterford Hills Road Racing is Metro Detroit's only permanent sanctioned road course. Located in Clarkson, Michigan, Waterford Hills hosts a 6-weekend race series, competition driving school, and 9 public open track days. The track goes hot from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and is open to the public. A nominal $5 entry fee is all it takes to get you close to the action. Check out waterfordhills.com for details. Under a minute left. It's drop the hammer time for the drivers of the SUPERLAP MX5 Cup Series as they work their way through the back portion of the circuit. Just under 2 miles. It's actually 1.967 miles, 12 turns, and it is a very flowing road course. As you see, Lincoln Olson not able to better his 24.152. He did a 3.93 last time by. Let's see what he can do. And he's not going to do very well if he keeps jumping those curbs.
No, he's not. Indeed, does the Mazdas will handle the curbs okay, but every time you go through there, you're putting yourself at risk of maybe just unsettling the car in a way that it doesn't like, and then when you try and get back on the power, you just kind of throw the rear end out, and it's a very, very tight chicane there, especially on entry. You've got the pit wall kind of sticking out there, so you miss it. And you run a risk of ending your race very, very quickly, as we see them running a little wide there, getting off in the grass, and then trying to bring it back, not being able to hold on to it. So that's going to be qualifying done for him as we're in our qualifying overtime. So everybody that's on a flying lap will get to finish that lap, and those times will count. But as soon as you cross the start-finish line, your qualifying is done.
Ryan Koff, 28 hundredths of a second behind. You're watching as I got to scroll down through the Ahmed Beydoun trying to get his first time lap, I should say, and he has not logged a time due to 1X crosses the line. Does he get a time this time by? He may be starting no, he's not going to start shotgun in the field. Start 18th, which really is it's going to be an interesting start for Beydoun, to say the least. Still have Ryan Goff on the circuit again, about 0.3 of a second off the best time of Ari Ryder, but nobody able to come in here and get the pole time that they need as they work their way headed towards turn number 12 and go a little wide onto that drag strip down the straightaway. And yeah, he knows that he's not going to make it, so that's going to be game over for Ryan Goff. So right now, Charles, it's going to be Ari Ryder on the pole.
Yep, absolutely. And let's see, as we cross the start-finish line there, we're going to get a shift, and does not appear so. Looks like we're going to stay. We did get Ryder with a faster time, so he's now 0.2 of a second over Olson, but no shift in positions. So great lap there at the very end by Ari. So give himself a little bit more room there for pole position, but still going to start first, and Lincoln Olson is going to be on his outside to start this race.
And of course, located on the world-renowned Woodward Avenue, Berkeley, Michigan, SUPERLAP is a sim drive studio, a space to meet and compete with professional-grade racing simulators. They are a premier racing and drive experience venue. They will help you achieve your motorsports goals in education, practice, and training. Many of your favorite racers use a sim. Why shouldn't you? You can race and practice against an AI roster, go head-to-head with other humans, or both. They offer league play like the DRSCCA League. Go to superlap.world for details. And Charles, I've got to say this. I'm starting to get more and more of suggested posts from SUPERLAP. They're doing something that makes me extremely happy, and I wish I was a lot closer. It's free coffee on weekend mornings.
There you go. Cars and coffee. Even if they're digital cars, you go in and you get your coffee and you get to run around and drive some laps there in their facility. So yeah, great concept there. All
right, so we're underway with the warm-up session. Now I'm trying. I love doing, different possibilities of, okay, well, if this happens, this happens. If that happens, so on and so forth. But I'm not even doing the math here today. As we said, 8 points separates Lincoln Olson from Ari Ryder, as we've got donuts being served up by David Grudzinski. So here's how the points are paid out. They're paid out in the SCCA rules, with 25 going to the winner. Second place gets 21, 18 for third place, and then you get 1 point back from third on back. So in essence, if I'm doing my math correctly, if Ari Ryder wins, Lincoln Olson would have to finish fourth or worse.
All right, that's interesting.
Yeah, because that would be a tiebreaker. 1, 2, 3, yep. And both of them have 3 wins. Ari would get the 4th win. Now, that goes out the window. Right now, Lincoln Olson holds his own destiny in terms of wins. So we'll see what happens here. Again, 30 minutes is a long time, especially in these MX5 Cup cars. And as Omet said, when Ari Ryder broke his own time for the pole, he got it on the draft. The draft is going to be absolutely huge tonight.
Yeah, it really is. It's these cars draft really well, and it's less of an aerodynamic draft than it is just the Mossas make a pretty big hole in the air, so you get the low pressure effect to the car behind. So they do draft really well, and it's going to make for some interesting strategy that gets played out here. Is when do you draft and stay back, and when do you draft to pass? Because once you kick that car out of line, then you're under your own power. You got to hope your overspeed holds out before you get you lose it all with the increased air pressure on the front nose of the car. So it's a very interesting little bit of cat and mouse that you end up having to play when you're talking about the draft. So yeah, looking forward to the all the little intricacies involved in the race tonight. But yeah, it just sounds like basically Lincoln Olson is P3 or better, and it doesn't have to worry about anything else. So I'm sure that's what's sitting in his mind right now.
Matt, can we go to Jackson Olson? We don't give him much time out there on the circuit, as you see Mike Schmidt around there. I want to point something out. Take a look at Jackson Olson. If you're a fan of the Cars movie, he is running the Chick Hicks paint scheme, which is also run by Farhan Siddiqui in the Global MX5 Cup Series. And of course, if you've been following along with what happened at Daytona, it seems like the Farhan Siddiqui and I just had that up. And Julian DaCosta, who runs the Lightning McQueen paint scheme, they ran into each other several times, much like the Cars movie.
It's interesting how that all plays out sometimes. Is you do things unintentionally, but then all of a sudden you life imitating art, I guess, as it were. So it's interesting. I do remember seeing that as I was watching those races. That was very ironic for sure.
I know I was watching it with my wife, and I'm like, hey, wait a second. Oh my goodness, it actually happened in real life. So, no, it's really cool. Hey, by the way, you saw those quarter marshals out there. We want to thank the Michigan Turn Marshals for their support of the SUPERLAP F4 and MX5 Cup races. If you want to get close to the action, be sure to check out MichiganTourMarshals.org. They can train you to support races like the Detroit Grand Prix, and it's not going to be too long until we start thinking about the Detroit Grand Prix. Remember, it's the weekend after the Indianapolis 500, which is, 70, 80 some odd days away. I know we're looking forward to our big vacation over to the Monaco Historics, and I think we're in the 40s. So yeah, about 70, 80 days left.
Yeah, that's like a good trip. I was thinking about that myself. I think I'm looking at maybe the Nürburgring for the dual NLS races in August. I think that's kind of where I'm trying to start circling for my vacation this year. So I'm hoping that all pans out. The last time I did not get a chance. Got some friends go over to the Nürburgring for the 24. Which ended up being the 7.5 hours of Nürburgring, unfortunately, due to the weather. So I hate that I missed the trip because I did miss the chance to hang out with friends. But yeah, it's the Monaco Historics. It sounds like something I probably couldn't afford, but would still like to go.
The only reason why we're going is because we're staying with friends in Nice. And we're going to be right there. So it's like why not? And that's kind of how we centered our trip. But, it's funny. I know some of the best, announcers all up and down who do the Indy 500. They've done the Rolex 24. They do NASCAR. And each and every one of them go, God, you're not announcing and I'm still jealous of you? Literally, everyone's like, oh, are you doing a bucket list item? I go, yes, I am.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely, if you're a racing fan, Monaco is definitely on the bucket list. You got to go there at least once for something. It doesn't matter if it's the F1 race or the historics or just anything else. It's just one of those that you just have to kind of visit. I've been lucky enough to go. I've already scratched Le Mans off the bucket list, so I'm looking forward to the Nürburgring, and then hopefully we'll get Monaco. We'll get Monaco scratched off in a couple of years, but there's still a couple here in the States I haven't done yet. I haven't been to Daytona, strangely enough, and I'm not just a IMSA fan, but I'm also a NASCAR fan. It just seems like that I would have found a way to get down there for one of the races they held at the early part of the season.
I've only been down for the Rolex, but I've actually called races down there at Daytona on the PA, which is, again, checking off the bucket list, doing that early. Next is Indy and all that. By the way, want to say hi out there to Jim Ryder, checking in from the Comus, watching and seeing if his son can get around Lincoln Olsen for the points championship. Either way, it's been a great season for both of these drivers. And really, they've been the runaway show of the season. They both share 6 of the wins this year so far. The only ones that outside of these two who have won are DJ Alessandrini that we saw in race number 1. Then you got to go over to, actually won the first 2 races, I should say. And at VIR, that was Ryan Goff who won that one. And also, other than that, it's basically been the Lincoln Olsen, Ari Ryder show.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was just looking there, and we just saw Alex in front there make a little bit of a mistake and kind of lose the rear of the car, but he had a really good run, I believe, if I remember correctly, Tuesday night over in the F4 as we crowned our champions over there. And so good racing over in the F4 league on Tuesday, and they've closed it out, and congrats to the champs over there. And so now it's a matter of crowning our champions here as we're just almost done with this warm-up period. We'll get ready to do some real racing as they've worked their way out of their big bunch as they do their normal warm-up standing start here and get some side-by-side racing in. And looks like it's went pretty well as we've got a few cars that are already in the pits. Getting mentally prepared for the start of this race as we're seeing a few more cars taking some last-minute laps. And Ryder Poe up on the top of the board there in the practice session with a 124.4. So Ryder is getting a little better every week, since we've talked about him. And with you knowing the family, it just seems like he's getting a little more comfortable in this car week in and week out.
And, of course, he'll be in a real-life MX-5 car in Spec MX-5, both in NASA and SCCA this season. So, yeah, if they decide to come down to Joliet, I might sneak over and say hi to them. By the way, there were some awards handed. I'm trying to find them out. They had the DRSCCA award banquet not too long ago, and they handed out the Sim Enthusiast of the Year. I'm going to dig through this here throughout the show and see if I can find it, because one of our own did indeed win that Sim Enthusiast of the Year. So as soon as I get that, I will let you know. But either way, we've got a couple of seconds left in warm-up. We'll get the cars out there on the grid, and we'll run the final 30 minutes of the season here at Portland International Raceway.
There we go. We'll wrap things up here in the warm-up session as everybody gets their final couple quarters in, and when the clock strikes 10 minutes, they'll all be sent back to the pit stalls, and we'll roll over to our race session and get a grid up, and we'll be able to go through that and give you our starting lineup. So should be happening any second now.
And of course, I did find the award. Alex Larson, no
There we go.
surprise, won. As a checker flag is out there. Yeah, Alex Larson winning the Sim Enthusiast Award for last year for the Detroit Region SCCA. And really, you know as well as I do, because you cover both series, this is no surprise because Alex does such a great job. Let's actually go through the grid real quick. Ari Ryder and Lincoln Olson, your championship protagonists in row one. Sean Fritz is third alongside Zane Cross. Then you go to Ryan Goff, Ryan Carwile. Make up row three. Row four, Chris Murray, and your AM champion-elect, Shea Devereaux, rolls off eighth. Ninth goes to Brendan Lotta and Charles. Row five rounds up with Alex Ryder. I think this is one of his best qualifying positions of the year.
I agree, yeah. Ryder Post starting in P11. Hayden Saka starts in 12th as we scroll the screen, and we'll pick up Sean Gaynor, I believe, is going to be starting in 13th. Matthew Manarito will start in P14 as we get to, there we go. Mike Smith starts in 15th. Corey Gordonier starting in 16th. Rodney Gibson, SUPERLAP 006 car starting in 17th. Ahmed Beydoun starting in 18th. David Grudzinski 19th. Jackson Olson 20th. Dave Oken starts in 21 ESSR. Alex Larson 22nd. And Ruben Gutierrez rolls up shotgun of the field 23rd.
And of course, Rodney Gibson having a great season thus far. He'll, barring what happens during this race, he may finish third in the M class. So a great season for him. And we've seen some great racing up and down the field this year. Of course, like we said, we're still watching the battle for the championship. I'm looking at the standings. Here's your top 10 as they run right now. Lincoln Olson, Ari Ryder, Sean Fritz, Ryan Goff, Chris Murray. They round out your top five. Then it's Brendan Lotta, Andrew Mowat, Zane Cross, Ryder Poe, and Ahmed Beydoun in the top 10. Of course, that battle is also tight between Beydoun and Alex Ryder. It's about 3 points separating them two, so that's another one to watch here as we get going. Now, again, as we said, here's what the points look like. If Ari Ryder wins, he's got to hope that Lincoln Olson finishes fourth or worse to win the championship. Lincoln Olson holds the cards. He's got an 8-point advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Lincoln Olson. I'm sure his game plan is going to be stay right behind Ari. If you stay right behind Ari, I think you're going to be okay, unless Ari makes a big mistake. But with Ari taking pole position, it's just a nice, easy ride in P2. Just keep an eye on the mirrors, make sure that nobody can sneak through, and you'll be set. And you walk out of here with a P2. You walk out of here with the championship.
And that's the case. Of course, sometimes the best laid plans aren't laid out. I can think of 100 championships that I've seen where that has happened. So that's exactly what happens here as the field double file along the back not so straightaway here at Portland International Raceway. Again, 12 turns, 1.967 miles in a counterclockwise position. Here's also what's important. You tell yourself to the pits, it's disqualification. No faster pair. 17X gives you a drive-through than every 5X after. If you're in a championship battle, you're watching your incident points, so just keep that in the back of your mind. Porsche pace car pulls off the pit road. We are just about ready to get set for 30 minutes of racing here at Portland International Raceway. It's a championship protagonist 1, 2, 3. A little bit of smoke in the back, but nonetheless, we are just about set to make our way into the festival curves for the first time at speed. Flagman has the flag. We're looking and waiting as the field slowly makes their way down the front straightaway. They get into the start zone. Green flag is held. We're already underway. 2, 3 wide, maybe even 4 wide here at the back. So everybody coming to party as they work their way down the front straightaway. Pull those belts a little bit tight as we're about ready to see who gets out front. Ari Ryder has his nose out front as they're side by side. Lincoln Olson goes to the inside. We've got 2 wide here in the festival curves, and Lincoln Olson, your championship leader, takes the lead early on.
Yeah, great start there by Lincoln Olson to get in front and take the lead. Jackson Olson, four positions up already, so got a great jump, as well as one of the other cars. I couldn't see who it was, but it was, I believe, Matthew Manarino is now up 3 positions. He was up 4 there, I think, got caught out on the outside. But a couple of great starts on the outside there, and got a couple of cars down to the back. Rodney Gibson, Ahmed Beydoun, down 5 positions, so they're at the back of the field, and they're only about a second or 2 off, so they should be able to rejoin the back of the grid as these cars are still kind of bunched up. We're just going to slow the back down a little bit and that'll allow those cars to get back into position.
The one thing that Olsen really hoped for now is a little bit of a split. We know how good Ari Ryder has been these past couple of races, and in spite of Lincoln Olsen knocking off, what was it, 3 in a row? Yeah, the 3 in a row at Coda, WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, and Road Atlanta. He's been untouchable. Of course, you always want to go with the hot hand as you're watching the battle for 8th place right now between Murray, Devereaux, Poe, and Manarino. And this battle also has implications on the SUPERLAP car because Rodney Gibson is back in 22nd. He's only got a scant 7-point lead for third over Matthew Manarino. So Manarino, as it runs now, could be third in the AMP Championship. The AMP Championship's locked up already with Shea Devereaux, your champion. There's absolutely no way that Hayden Saka can catch up. But here's the thing, Manarino could even leapfrog Saka if Saka has problems sometime during this race.
Yeah, so that jump makes sense. He saw an opportunity to get out there in front as we're getting a replay here, and this is the front of our field, and you just see Ari. Oh, that is Lincoln Olsen just almost losing the car. Had to check it up and allowed Ari Ryder to get by and take the position, and Sean Fritz tried to sneak in there as well, but Lincoln managed to hang on to P2, so he's got to be very careful now that Ryder is back in front. He has got some hungry drivers behind that are looking to pick up a couple of positions, and he's got to be very careful with the cars behind, and he needs to stay up there and not give up any more ground if at all possible.
He can only lose 2 more spots before he really has to start to work harder to keep up front. There's your battle for 7th. Poe's falling back to 10th with Devereaux in 9th, and then you've got Murray and Carwile as well. But here's the thing. We knew that Ari was going to come to play and have his elbows out to get into that lead. Well, now Olsen kind of sweating a little bit because he's lost a couple of points by sitting back there in that 2nd spot. And, of course, we know how aggressive Fritz can be as well as Goff. So those are 2 drivers I would not want behind me at all.
No, absolutely not. Goff has been up at the front, pretty much the entire season. He's got I know at least 1 race win, and has been challenging for others. But I was looking as I was watching through as they were working down through the field. I noticed Murray in P8 has already got damage on the right front of his car. So I'm not sure where the contact came from, but obviously really tight racing there in the early stages of the first couple of laps, and is already starting to put some war wounds on these cars.
Gibson goes up 1 spot over Gutierrez. So Gutierrez sitting back there, tail end Charlie, but you saw how close that Fritz got to Olsen there on that back straightaway. I was going to say a couple of laps ago, Lincoln's pretty darn happy that turn 7, the entry there, is as wide as it is, as Ryder now takes a little bit of defensive line, and you just see the snake working its way down the front straightaway once again. Again, this is a 30-minute race. You're on board with Goff as he's lost a little bit of ground to Fritz, and Fritz not going to make anything happen through the festival curves, but Goff really closes in. It's going to bump there through festival and makes his way still there, but you're seeing that Lincoln, I don't know if he's trying to look for a move or if he's just trying to get in the mirrors. No, he's going to try and go to the inside of Ryder through turn number 1, and indeed he will. They're side by side. Move Lincoln Olsen to the point for the time being, but I think this is how it's going to be. It's just going to be a dance of who's going to be up front the longest.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're exactly right, as we're seeing now Ryder getting a little bit of pressure behind by Fritz and Goff, and Ryder offline is looking for a way back around Olsen, and so still hanging on there. So this battle at the front is going to be a 30-minute war, I believe, as I think all these cars that have already looked like Ryder already moving out to the outside again, as we're back here with Gaynor and Manarino and Poe. This is right around the edge of the top 10 as we see them 2 wide at the front.
By side for the lead, and of course if somebody slips up, it's going to be game over because your top 4, they are all nose to tail as Olsen, he goes up front, and now Fritz wants a battle for 2nd place, but he's going to have to fall in line. Goff pops to the inside. They're side by side for 3rd right now as Goff gets that nose out front. We know how racy that he gets. He's going to stay behind Lincoln Olsen. Fritz is going to stay behind Ryder as Ryder has the nose out front, but he will not have that lead. He'll probably lose second place is all as he gets bumped by Fritz. Fritz gets some nose damage, so that's going to hurt him. Add Cross into the equation. Now you've got a 5-way battle for the lead.
Yeah, you absolutely do. As Cross was looking to the inside there, trying to pick up P4, was able to slide up the inside of Fritz, and is he going to make it? Still battling side by side through, and just see now runs out of inside line there, moves to the outside. Fritz able to hang on. As we're seeing some more battling back there in the back, but right now. I think we're at the point where we are basically the top 14 cars are basically nose to tail within a second of each other, and that's kind of what you expect from these MX5 races.
And now Goff has made his way to second place. He wants a battle for the lead here. With Olsen, he's got a great opportunity going into turn number 11 as they work their way in, 10 I should say, the 10 through 11, then into 12. 1, 2, 3, Olsen, Goff, Ari, Ryder. Does Goff have enough draft to get off of Lincoln Olsen here through the festival curves? He does not. And of course, also, Goff has a bent-up nose. I think it's a question of who doesn't have a bent-up nose at this point, because there's more noses that need nose jobs down in California than there are who don't. As now you see Goff, I should say, making his way there. You see the battle for position between Poe and Devereaux and Cross and Carwile. Cross trying to go every which way but sideways, and he's going to give Carwile that fourth position.
He is indeed. Yeah, it's just really tough battling up there, and you'll see gaps as we're seeing here after P3, where these cars are going to do battle. And I think the worst possible place it's probably the best place to make a pass, but the worst possible place to battle is that those festival curves there at the end of the front straight. It just loses you so much time through there if you're trying to go through there too wide, and it creates these gaps in the train. But then once you see the cars as you see up front here, P2 and P3, Goff and Ryder, side by side making their way down. They've got to get it cleared and close back over. We'll see if Ryder able to get that pass made, and not so much yet. They're still side by side coming down. That's going to allow those cars behind to close it back up as they have to decrease their speed through the corner to make sure they don't end up in the door of another car.
You know, I tell people at the end of the day that this is just a video game, but man, the action you see here on iRacing is absolutely second to none. I would say it's on par with some of the MX5 Cup races that you see on YouTube. As Ari Ryder now closes in, he looks at the inside of Olsen, too far away to make anything happen. Around the festival curves they go once again, and this is Ryder's time to shine. Can he dive to the inside of Lincoln Olsen heading into turn 1? No, he's going to sit there and he's going to play with Olsen just a little bit, play with his emotions to try and get him into some sort of position where he can kind of lose. Oh, that was an absolutely fantastic move by Carwile as he makes his way around, Cross, I should say, as he makes his way around Murray. That was fantastic.
Yeah, great move there. As you see, as you said, I can see the damage on the front of all these cars, and this is MX5. This is classic MX5 racing. This is exactly what you see if you're watching the MX5 Cup Series on YouTube or your whatever streaming service you might be able to catch it. But this is how MX5s run. They really bunch up in the corners. They'll run side by side. They'll run 3 wide if they are able to. And then you use those long draft trains down the straightaways, and it's like this from the start of from the drop of the green to the waving of the checkers. It's just some fantastic racing, and these SUPERLAP drivers are showing it off as this is how MX5s are supposed to be raced.
Goff now tucked on the tail end of Olsen as you start to see drivers pop out. We're a third of the way into this race, folks, and already we've got drivers trying to race like it's the last lap of the championship. And of course it is. We got a spinner at the back. That's going to be Devereaux, who has taken a spot. He's going to fall back several spots as you take a look at the replay here. Let's see what happens with Shea Devereaux. I believe that's going to be Ryder Poe back there. Does he do it on his own? And indeed, yes, he does. Those curbs, they'll cut you out quick.
Yeah, they will indeed, and that's exactly what just took too much curb on the left side, and you saw the car bounce across. He tried to adjust to make the corner, and the rear end just would not would not help him out there. So around he goes, no contact made. So he'll drop down to P15 and he'll pick it up and start making the march forward. Once again, he's already got championship in hand, so no way for him to lose it, but I'm sure he wants to finish the race off, or the season off, with a strong result.
Side by side between Goff and Ryder. You saw the opposite lock that Goff had to take to keep that car pointed forward. The only person this is helping is Lincoln Olson. He's watching this in his rearview mirror saying, you know what, this is great, gives me a little bit of breathing room, but he's still going to take a defensive line because he's a little bit worried about, a little bit of Goff catching up to him.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, I think the side-by-side really didn't help Goff make the run down the straight, try and pick up a draft. He picked up a 10th Olson through there, but had he got a better run out of the corner, he might have been a lot closer there at the end of the straightaway. As it is, though, Lincoln Olson still leading 0.7 of a second over Goff. And then the rest of the battle pack here is Ryder, Fritz, Cross, Carwile, all up there in the top 6, and then a little bit of a gap back to Ryder Poe, but we're going to see more action here as we get some more side-by-side. Another look there by Ryder, trying to find his way around Goff. No luck there, but he is going to keep that on. He wants to get back up there and be able to challenge Olson for the win here before it's all said and done.
I'll tell you what, this is just absolutely great. Hard to turn away. This is the biggest gap that Lincoln Olson has had all race long. It's 0.8 of a second. Now it's down to a half a second, and just by a little bit as you're heading towards turn number 11, now into turn 12. Lincoln Olson easy to get on the gas, and at this point I would think that Ari and Ryan would probably say, you know what, let's get the rest of these guys in line, let's catch up to Lincoln, because if we keep battling like this, it's just going to be game over. And you see how close that Ari is up against Goff. You can't even put a sheet of paper between them.
No, that's bump drafting down the front straight. Normally we see that in NASCAR, but these MX-5s do it really, really well, and they'll hook themselves together and just maximize their pace down the straightaways to pick up a couple of tenths, and they've closed the gap back down to Olson, so they'll keep doing that. Looks like Ryder's content to stay in line for the time being, unless we see that from Goff where he runs wide, has to correct the car, and gives Ari Ryder an opening on the inside and allows him to make the move to pick P2 back up.
Oh, here comes Goff down to the inside, trying to hold off Fritz as he tried to go wide around turn number 7. Now, that's a place you can if you carry enough speed. We've seen drivers go to the outside in different disciplines, but now Ari Ryder closing in on Ryan Goff. By the way, fastest lap of the race goes to Sean Fritz at the 24.469, and he's going to pop to the inside of Goff. He thinks he's got something to play with here as they go through turn number 10, side by side, setting up for turn number 11. Goff has the line and the speed as he works his way around the number 19 Legitimate Racing MX-5. Around the final corner they come. They go wide over the rumble strips, over onto the drag strip, and set up for yet another lap here at Portland International Raceway. Olson, Ryder, Goff, your top 3, as Fritz and Cross try and look to the inside. They're going to sneak their way back into the draft, and I think that this is going to be how it's going to work out for the rest of the race. And if I'm Ari Ryder at this point, I'm kind of hoping that Lincoln Olson hits that curb like he just did, and kind of slows him up.
Yeah, and I was watching Goff there, took a lot of the curb there through the chicane. And so much so that he lost a lot of momentum and got a little bump in the back from Fritz, as Fritz took a cleaner line through there and had a few extra MPHs going through that section, and little contact made, no damage any more than what we've seen with anybody else, and did not spin anybody out. So good bit of driving by those two drivers, but you can just see that the line is very important through that section. If you get it wrong, you're going to put yourself and others in quite a bit of trouble there, as there's really no place to go except into the back of another car. So we get a battle here as Ryder has made up the gap, is looking to the inside, is going to take over P1 over Olson. Very strong move down into the corner, gets that move made, and has already picked that up. He picked up 0.8 of a second, just as I was talking about that during the course of the lap, and is able to make their way around. So great job by Ryder to take over P1. Olson's going to hang out in P2, and he's got Goff, Fritz, and Cross behind him looking for their way around also.
the festival curves, they come once again. A little bit of a bump there from the, and there we go. Now the game is afoot as Lincoln Olsen. This is the first time that he's been challenged for something other than the lead, as Ryan Goff all over the back bumper of the championship leader. He cannot afford to lose too much more, because if he loses that one more, you know that Fritz is going to be all over that like butter on a hot piece of toast as they come through turn number 6. And we know how damaged Goff's car is. I don't think he really cares if it gets bumped any further. He's going to try and look to the inside, heading into turn number 7. And indeed, Goff is going to stay right behind.
Yeah, staying right behind it. We're already past the halfway point. That's how engaging this race has been. We're halfway done, and it's just been a battle nonstop since the drop of the green flag here with these front runners. As Sean Fritz, we get a nice shot of him trying to close that gap down to Goff, half a second or so back, and this is going to help as those cars go side by side at the front again, and a little bit of contact there between Ryder and Lincoln, just trying to get him a little loose there in the corner, and now side by side contact again, and they are absolutely battling up at the front of this field.
They really are. Now we're going to go 3 wide for second place. Here comes Fritz. Can we make it 4 wide? How do you like it for second place? No, we see the cross the sides better of it. Lincoln Olsen shuffled all the way back to third place, as still a little bit of argy-bargy there, as you still got Goff, who's in position, 1 car off, and we're still side by side. 3 wide again for third. Now we're back to side by side.
Wow, and now we're up to about 8 cars in this front pack, as all the fighting up front has allowed that second little group to regain contact with the front group, and they are absolutely hungry to move forward, as we're seeing the battle there with a little slowdown there from contact in the back. Gainer Poe, Murray Fritz.
Oh, that's a big one right there. And looks like Fritz is out of the race. What happened here? As it looks like Fritz went wide, almost entered into a 3 wide situation and just spun, and the rest of the field had nowhere to go.
Yeah, and just saw him get on the outside curb there, and the rear just let go. Could not hold it. Ryder Poe, meatball flag, mechanical black flag. He's got to come into the pits, but he's got to try and drive it back around. So hopefully he can make it and get back in there, get his repairs, and get back out on the track. But otherwise, if he tows, he's done for the race. We see Dave Oken slide by there to pick up the position. And so lonely, slow drive for Ryder Poe around. And I just want to, as we're seeing the battle still heating up here at the front, as I was listening to the driver chat as they were trying to go 4 wide down the front straight of that last lap, and I just heard somebody say, "Oh my God, we're all going to die." And then just foreshadowed what was about to happen, and unfortunately for the cars involved in that incident.
Have they never watched MX5 Cup racing from Daytona? This is tame compared to that, especially also Road America. Oh wait, they've raced at Road America. They should know how nuts things can get. As you work your way around turn number 7, you're on board with Zane Cross, driver in 4th position. Still, it's Ari Ryder with Olsen and Goff, your top 3. Right now, as we said, Lincoln Olsen holds his destiny, although this points lead goes from 8 all the way down to about 5 as they work their way through turn number 10. Now into 11. Does Ryan Goff have anything so far? We've got about 10 minutes left to go in the race, 10 minutes left to go in the season. Who do you like as Ryder Poe comes into the pits?
Unfortunately, he could not make it. He had to tow back, so that is race done for young Ryder Poe. Had a good showing going on, was up in the top 7, was really battling hard at the front of the field, and unfortunate that we had somebody who didn't quite make it out and got involved and got damaged and could not continue. So Sean Fritz also as well has towed back to the pit, so that is another victim of that incident that happened just about a lap ago.
And of course, like we said for Ryder Poe, this is a learning season for him, and I thought he did quite well. And of course, this will be also a drop race for him, so we'll see what happens as once again, Lincoln Olsen is your leader with less than 10 minutes left to go. Of course, it's still anybody's race, anybody's championship here in the Pro Championship. Jay Devereaux, your AM champion, is right now in 11th place. He took the championship when he took the green flag. As once again, Ari Ryder goes to the inside, side by side, going into turn 10. He'll have the line. He has the nose out front, and Goff decides to play with. Oh, Goff made the move at the last second to go inside with Olsen, and now he chooses Olsen once again as he chose Ryder earlier. So now Ryan Goff kicks Ryder third place. That gives Cross a chance to possibly go for the podium.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Goff now up to P2 over Ryder, and then we're seeing still battling going on as they're headed down the front straight. Olsen in front. I just thought it was interesting, those curves. Just like normally the car on the inside had the advantage, but for that one, it just seems like the way the curves are designed. Oh, more contact there between Ryder and Cross as Ryder manages to hang on to P3, but Cross really putting the challenge on. It just looked like those curves were kind of set for an inside move, and then the outside came back very, very quickly, and that allowed Olsen to hang on to that position.
Still seeing Goff open up that gap between he and Ryder, and he's all over the back of him like a cheap suit, working their way into turn number 7. Goff can pop to the inside. He decides not to. Oh, he's moving him out of the way. He's all over that back bumper. He's not just using it as a draft tool. He's using it as a battering ram around 7 and now into 8. So if I'm Ari Ryder, I'm going to sit back there and hope that he does something to get the championship. And I know that Ari does not want to win that way. Olsen does not want to lose it that way as Goff goes to the inside into turn number 10. But Olsen's going to have the line through 11 and 12, but you're not going to get the line when you get Goff going deep to the inside.
Yeah, really late on the brakes by Goff there. He had to do that. Otherwise, I think he would have got crossed back over by Olsen, but just really, really drove it in deep and was able to make the pass before they got to the switchback for the right-hander. But now Olsen with a run, looking to the inside, Ryder behind, just keeping track of both of these cars as they head down into the festival curves into turn 1 and turn 2. And you see this better line there is they're not taking nearly as much of those curves when they can go through there without a challenge from the back, and makes that a little bit easier for those guys. And I think that's the preferred line for sure, as we've got a nice 5-car draft up front.
And of course, Ari Ryder still in a position to possibly win, possibly get the championship. You also have this battle between Alex Ryder and Hayden Saka as well, as they work their way in and around after the festival curves, heading into 6 and through 7. We still got that battle for the lead, but this is an absolutely fantastic battle.
Yeah, it really is. As Devereaux's made up after that spin earlier, has made up the time, is right behind Saka, who is vice champion there elect in the AM class. As Ryder moving to the inside, going to challenge Goff, and not quite able to get it stuck, but he's going to try and cross him over. Not going to work there either. Goff hanging on to it and managing to hang on to P2, and now Ryder's going to look for the run out of the final corner down the front straight.
Down the front stretch they come once again. Ryder's going to look to the inside of Goff for that second place. He's still got his sights set on the lead and a great position going into the festival curves. He just got to make sure not to use an IndyCar line and bounce. Well, he does indeed, but then again, these shocks, they absolutely are fantastic for this kind of thing. That gives Olsen another big gap. The sands are running out of the hourglass for Ari Ryder's chance to go and win the championship in the final race, but anything can happen. I don't see any lap cars that are going to be involved in this here in just a little bit. Actually, I take that back. It's Alex Larson. You see him right there going through the turn 5 and now into 6. So that'll be quite interesting to see how quick it takes for the lead 3 to make their way to Larson.
Yeah, I think Gutierrez is right behind him as well. So they got 2 lap cars they're going to have to deal with here in the next lap or so. As there we see Gutierrez coming around, and these cars are just really barreling down with the head of steam. And so it's going to be very tight where they catch this car. Probably going to be down in the S's section there, as Gaynor and Murray are sitting there battling for P7 off the back of this front group. And they're going to get through, I believe. And here come Gaynor and Murray. Gaynor holding on to that position. Murray sitting there in P7. Once again, as we got another battle here between Saka Ryder and Devereaux, there's Alex Ryder having a good run. And I heard a oh no. Okay, here we go down into turn one. And here's this might be a little tricky for these front runners as Gutierrez makes it through. And it's going to be Olsen, and then a battle there between Ryder and Goff. Just got pinched down a little bit by Ryder did from Gutierrez, so puts them side by side coming around the corner. And looks like Goff has got the inside line temporarily. He's going to be able to hang on to it. Ryder really, really strong on the outside, and now it's going to be switched back over. And I think Ari Ryder is going to take that position back over. And now he really needs to be looking forward, trying to track down Olsen. He does a nice little tight corner there. And so we'll see. He's got about, 2 laps or so left in order to get this done. So he's going to have to be very, very aware of that as time is running out.
And my little there. First was the contact that Devereaux made going into this wall right here, as you saw just a little bit of scrape on the right rear of his MX-5, working their way through turn number 11, now into turn number 12 for the, I would say, 2 laps to go. Oh, a little wiggle out of Goff as he's going to lose a lot of position. He's going to lose momentum as Cross finally gets into third place. Now Cross is going to have his chance at these two. Olsen doing the snake method, trying to break the draft of Ryder, and he's going to force Ryder to go to the outside of the festival curves. I don't know if I want to do that because I know how good that Ryder is. Oh, he shuts the door on him going through turn number 2 as Olsen still holds that lead. Who do you got for the final 2 laps of the race, final 2 laps of the season? As Olsen now tucks into line, it's Olsen, Ryder, Cross, Garf, and Carwile. Those are your top 5. They are left to fight against their own devices as Chris Murray is 6.7 seconds behind this lead draft. You saw how close the nose of Ari Ryder was, and he's going to take a dive to the inside of turn 7. Move Ari Ryder to second place for the time being. As they still go side by side, Olsen still gets that nose up front, and back in line everybody goes.
Yeah, it was we were on board there with Goff, and he just almost caught the tower barrier coming out of the final corner. So he cut it very, very close there and put him in there in a very strong battle between him and Zane Cross with the Hokie Carwile there in P5 as we come around. I believe it's going to be white flag this time there, Jeremy, and we're going to have one hellacious battle here on the last lap.
Let's see where we're at. It's going to be close on time. 25.8 was the last time by. And indeed, white flag is coming out this time by. It's anybody's race for the championship. Ryder leans on Olsen just a little bit as they make their way through the festival curbs. And Ryder losing a little bit of ground, but he's got Ryan Goff behind him. And you got to hand it to Alex Larson. They're really holding on to their own as the last car on the lead lap. Hold your breath because things are about to get hairy in these next couple of corners. As Olsen gains a little bit of ground between he and Ryder, but then loses it in turn number 6. And Ryder is going to try for one last big attempt around turn number 7. Indeed, he's not. He's got at least 1, maybe 2 more opportunities to try and get up front. But then again, he's got to hope that Olsen's going to lose 3 spots. It's going to take a miracle for that. As Ryder doing what he can, they're side by side, almost leaning on each other down the back straightaway. Goff finds a way to try and choose who he's going to draft with. He's going to push Ryder down into the final couple of the corners. They're still side by side, coming through 10, now into 11. A little bit of a wiggle out of Ryder. It might be game over for Ryder to win this race and the championship. Lincoln Olsen won the last 3 races. He's going to make it a 4-in-a-row sweep. Take this field to the checkered flag. He's going to win the race, and he's going to win the championship in the pro class.
Wow, what a great race. Oh, man, top 5 separated by a half second. They were basically nose to tail coming across the line, and just some fantastic battling up front. And I must say, extremely clean. There was a little bit of bumping, but it wasn't just wall-to-wall chaos up at the front. Those guys were really, really sharp, on point. Yeah, there was a little bit of car contact, but that was nothing but some really good hard racing, and a fantastic job by everybody involved in that. Is oh wow, what a great finish! And you're not going to get a better race anywhere for MX5s than what we just saw there at the front of the field.
Corey Gordonier and Gibson coming across the line, 16th and 17th. I just did some quick math in my head. 1, 2, 3 on the track. Charles finished 1, 2, 3 in the championship standings. Unbelievable, and what a race we had. There is your AM champion right there, and here comes Alex Larson. He does a lot for this series. He does a lot for both SuperLap series in the Detroit region SCCA, and even though he is the last car to finish on the lead lap, last car to finish, you got to give a tip of the cap to what he has done for this series, and we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him.
Yeah, Alex does a great job behind the scenes, and gets out there and does the best that he can do, and that's what this is all about, right? Is getting laps, racing against people that you're comfortable racing around, and just getting better at racecraft, and getting better at being able to handle this car. So thank you very much to Alex, as well as all the rest of the people behind the scenes here at the DRSCCA region. Just fantastic racing tonight, as it has been all season long, both here in the MX5s and in the SuperLap F4 series as well. Just really, really fun to be a part of this series.
Let's take a look at your rundown. Lincoln Olson, your winner and champion in the pro class. Then it's Ari Ryder, Ryan Goff. Zane Cross finishes 4th. Ryan Carwile in 5th. Chris Murray, Sean Gaynor, 6th and 7th. 8th goes to Brendan Latta. Jay Devereaux takes the championship and the win in the AM class, followed by Hayden Saka. And I'll finish off the next 12. I'll hand the rest to you. Alex Ryder and Mike Schmidt round out your top 12.
Yeah, Matthew Manarino finishing in 13th. Ahmed Beydoun up from the back to finish in 14th. Jackson Olson finishes in 15th. Corey Gordonier finishing in 16th. Rodney Gibson, SuperLap driver, finishes in 17th. Dave Oken finishing in 18th. As we scroll up a little more, Alex Larson finishes in 19th. Ruben Gutierrez finishes in 20th. Sean Fritz, Ryder Poe, Dave Grodzinski, well off the pace due to incidents during the race, and they'll round out our 23-car finishing order tonight.
What a fantastic race that we saw. And this was absolutely great, up and down the field. As I'm going to pop into, I've been going back and forth. Let's bring in our champion, Lincoln Olson, as he is your winner, your pro champion. And Lincoln, I've got to say this, has your heart rate come down just yet?
No, definitely not. Even in the interview waiting area, we had Ari and Ryan are in there, and it's just crazy. I mean, what a way to end with 4 in a row. It's just a really good feeling.
I say 4 in a row, you take the championship by just a handful of points. Did you go through every possible inevitability on what may or may not happen? Because there was a point right there when you were in second place, and I thought that Goff is just going to be all over you and getting around you.
Yeah. I before the race, I did the calculations with our 2 drops, and I knew I had a 12-point lead. So I could finish, I believe it was 6th. If Ari won, I could finish 6th and still win. So I definitely had that in the back of my head. You know, it's not worth it. If you're fighting for the win and it's safe enough, great. But there were some where with Ryan and other ones where it was just, back out and we can get them later on.
I've been seeing off and on social media posts from you that you've got an MX5 Cup suit. You've got an MX5 Cup paint scheme. How close are we to an MX5 Cup ride now?
Yeah, it's we're talking about it a little bit. We'll see. The suit, that one's for my Spec Miata. It's got all of those logos on there, but hopefully eventually soon it'll be a Cup suit.
Well, either way, congratulations. What a fantastic season. Like you said, 4 in a row. Man, just setting them up, knocking them down. Anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, I had tons of family out there that was supporting me throughout the whole season. I really appreciate you guys. It brings a lot more fun to it. I know they were all cheering me on in the chat and everything, and I really appreciate that. Of course, my parents for buying me this amazing sim. I've learned so much through it. all our real world partners and the DRCCA for putting this up, and you guys for streaming it, making us look cool.
4 in a row, 5 out of the last 6. You are a winner, and you are this year's MX5 Pro Champion. Congratulations, Lincoln.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. We'll see you next season.
Lincoln Olson, your champion and winner tonight. Charles, I'm going to hand you off to our second place finisher and our second place driver in the point standings.
Yeah, let's bring in Ari Ryder. Ari, great season. Congratulations, P2 overall. P2 in the race tonight as well. And just really, I just want to commend you and the other drivers up there. I mean, halfway through the race, it was a 14-car draft train at the front of the field. And you guys, the top 5 crossing the start-finish line within a half a second of each other. It was just really some classic MX5 racing. And so I want to congratulate you guys for that. Just a fun race to watch and commentate on. So, obviously from your perspective, you were looking for something a little more, but you kind of needed a little bit of help tonight in order to get up to the top step of that championship, and it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, no, I'm still super hyped about second place. I mean, Lincoln's a great driver. And I'm just happy that we had a great race tonight and that I was able to finish out the season strong. But yeah, this beef of ours actually kind of goes back to racing school. We went to racing school together when Lincoln was 15. And in the final session of racing school, or one of the ones where they actually had a sim race against each other, I let him by on the straight, even though my car was faster in a straight line. And I always regretted that. I wanted to see what we could do, but it was racing school, and so. Yeah, I've been trying to prove that I can beat him, and sometimes I can, but I mean he's obviously the class of the field here, so no, I'm super excited about this, and yeah, it's a great time.
I mean, yeah, to be honest, I don't think you have anything to be ashamed of. You got a handful of race victories this season, and had Lincoln not been in there, I think it would have been your championship, obviously, to take away. But you got some other drivers that were there behind you that were really giving you some trouble as well, specifically Ryan Goff and Sean Fritz there early on.
Yeah, so I actually felt really bad about how I raced with Ryan a little, because we were just frantically trying to kill each other up in front of him, and I was just holding him up the whole time. We got a couple of bumps of it. It's no hard feelings. Honestly, he was a gentleman the whole time. He made it so that our battle was entertaining. I mean, it was a great time. No hard feelings about that.
Well, there you go, Ari. Congratulations again on a fantastic season, P2. And that gives you something to shoot for. We got one more step to climb on the podium for next season. So hopefully we'll look forward to seeing you up there and claiming the big trophy there at the end of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it my best. Porsche Cup, I guess we're thinking about doing Porsche Cup next time, which I don't have a lot of experience in. But yeah, obviously I can put together something on short notice because I just bought this track yesterday.
Well, I understand because I just bought it about 15 minutes before the race started. So I get it.
It's a great track.
Great track. Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're going to be quite happy with the Porsche Cup car. The new 992.2 is a fantastic car to drive. So, Ari, once again, congratulations. If you have anybody you want to give any thanks to, we'll let you do that now before we let you go.
Yeah, just once again, my family. I know my dad's in the chat on these streams all the time. Hey, Dad, good to see you. I'll be coming down to Florida to see him for the Sebring 12 hours next weekend. And then just all my real-life sponsors, everyone who helps keep the team going, Summit Landscaping, C-Tech Performance, and then just everyone who helps me. DRSCCA for putting the league on, Apex for doing a great broadcast, and just putting on the same for the whole season. So, yeah, thanks again, guys. We'll see you soon.
All right, thank you, Ari. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Ari's really going to like that 992 Cup car. Here, it's just like the real life car. All right, let's bring in our third place driver, third place in the championship, Ryan Goff. And Ryan, I've got to say, you kept us on our toes. I thought right there that you were really going to be a thorn in the side of both Ari and Lincoln. Congratulations on a third place in the race in this season.
Thank you. Yeah, I knew I had the speed and I knew I had the pace. It was just kind of like Ari was saying. I was watching the stream and listening, and it was kind of one of those things. Every time that I know I was going to have a run, those two would push it too wide, and I'd get held up. Meanwhile, Sean and Zane behind me would pull up closer because both of them were on a run. It was third place was an interesting spot to be, but it was insanely clean racing the whole the whole race. I mean, I can't say any bad things about Ari and Lincoln trading spots that many times throughout the race. I was just happy to lead one of the laps, honestly.
Well, here's the thing. Everybody, you say clean racing, and there's people who are probably watching the stream for the first time going, wait a second, aren't you bent up? But to them, I say, you need to watch the real life MX5 Cup, because if cars are that bent up, that is a clean race.
Right, yeah. I mean, unfortunately I got like front and rear aero damage within like, I don't know, 3 laps. I got smacked in T1 right at the start of the race, rear-ended, and then the first bump draft I tried to give Lincoln in the race, it gave me front damage. And I'm like, all right, we're riding with it, it is what it is. The bump drafting or drafting won't be as tough or as great, but it just made it a little bit more tough and made it a lot more fun, honestly. I'm just glad we all made it out alive.
Yeah, that's half the key. But either way, a 3rd place in the championship this year. Rumor has it you guys are going to the Porsche Cup next year. So another spec series is just higher horsepower and different weight distribution.
Yeah, I think we're alternating cars each week. I think it's going to be Porsche Cup one week, then MX5 the next, then back to Porsche Cup. Summer season, we always slow it down a little bit just because, most of us are driving in real life as well. So we kind of we cut it from Tuesday, Thursday to just on Tuesdays. So I think we'll just have Tuesday races and we're alternating cars each week is what I think it is.
It's racing season, and then again, you guys are doing autocross and all sorts of stuff with the Detroit Region SCCA. So that'll be a lot of fun to talk about as well, because I can finally sprinkle some things in so I can follow you guys all throughout the season. But either way, a great season, absolutely fantastic. Anyone you want to thank?
I just want to thank everybody at the DRSCCA. Great season, always a great group of people, always a ton of fun, and I'll always be back. And I'll see everybody on the real tracks this year, of course.
I know, I cannot wait to get back to the real track. Ryan Goff, your 3rd place driver here in the MX5 Cups. And oops, didn't want to toss Charles out. But either way, Charles, final thoughts on the season. I think this, as much as I love the F4s, this was a lot more fun.
This was pretty fantastic, and this last race just capped it off. I mean, we had some races where you had a couple of cars break away, and other cars maybe struggling on pace, but this race, everybody was on point tonight. It was fantastic racing, and it's like I said, it's exactly what you would see in a normal MX5 real life race. I mean, just side by side drafting, bump drafting, door banging. So, I'm sure there'll be the marshals will be out picking up mirrors at the end of the race tonight. And that's what you expect to see when you're MX5 racing. That just was fantastic. And it was a great, great end to a very, very good season for these drivers here in the MX5 Cup cars. And can't wait to see what we do next season. It seems like MX5 and a Porsche Cup dual season is going to be very interesting, because those 2 cars are quite a bit different to drive, and so we'll see how the drivers. It's going to be another challenge to try and get these drivers to switch back and forth and really kind of hone their skills as they're trying to get their brains reset every week to jump into a different car.
Let's let the powers that be know we want to run it back another season. It's been a blast, my friend, and we'll see you hopefully next season.
Yeah, I absolutely hope so. Thanks very much, Jeremy and Omed as well. Just a fantastic job during the broadcast, and can't ask for a better group of people to work with.
You know what? And I've got to say, we bet Omed, but we didn't break her in our first season of the Detroit Region SUPERLAP SCCA. So congratulations. I know you don't want to keep run from us because you let me work with you on a different channel. So that's always a lot of fun. Hey, by the way, SUPERLAP F4 and MX5 is supported by the Detroit Region SCCA. This league would not be possible without the support of the DRSCCA. Log on to drscca.org for more info. We want to congratulate our champions, Lincoln Olson in Pro and Shay Devereaux in AM. And thank you all for a fantastic season, whether you watched or participated. Always great to have you alongside here on Apex Racing TV. My name is Jeremy Scott. Don't forget to keep it pointed forward, keep it between the ditches, and always keep it greasy side down. We will see you next season here on Apex Racing TV.